That's really hard. That's why God of War 2, even though Corey directed it and I creative directed God of War 2, where I was the creative director on it, it still has its own level of high difficulty. But once you've made it the game and you kind of have the template, you know what you're doing and you can improve on it. So it's a lot easier to work on franchises that have already been established. But when you're launching one out the gate, we had the same problem with Twisted Metal. We had no idea what that game was. We knew we liked cars and cars shooting and Mad Max and all that stuff. But, we spent 6-7 months going, what do you do in this game? What's the actual moment-to-moment game loop? So starting those franchises takes a lot of faith from the people who are funding it and the people that are working on it, that you will eventually kind of emerge from that darkness into something that's pretty cool.
So the first God of War was a massive success. Did you always plan on God of War becoming a franchise or a series? When you were creating it, did you think, I can do a couple of these games? Where were you at?
Certainly when we opened up the doors to Sony Santa Monica, we were like, we want to be, everybody wants to be a studio that creates franchises, but we were like, we really built God of War with the idea of saying, we want to do more of this stuff. But there was no master plan. About halfway through, or maybe 2/3 of the way through God of War 1, Corey and Corey would go on, obviously, to direct God of War 2, and then the new God of War 2018, Corey and I definitely fleshed out like a very ambitious plan for Kratos and his world and all that stuff. But we were never presumptuous enough to go, we'll be making part 2 now. It was very much, I would vacillate within a single day between delusions of grandeur that we were making the next Star Wars, and then feeling like, I remember one night we were all working late and I started writing a short story at my desk because I'm like, I think this video game is probably going to flop massively, and I'm going to have to prep for a new career. Maybe I would be a good prose writer. And I was waiting for a build to be done, so I sat there and started working on the short story because I'm like, this thing's going to flop. Not because I didn't like it, but because when you're that deep into it, you really don't know what you're working on. And so while there were thoughts of wouldn't it be great to make more, we never entered into it like we have a 3-story arc. It was never anything like that. It was always designed to be a self-contained game, and then we hope for the best.